It's all about the wilderness. And the wilderness and a prelude, and the wilderness is what our series is about. And today we heard about Jesus in the wilderness. What kind of place is the wilderness? Is it a great place to be? Would you go there for, say, your vacation? Is it pleasant, hospitable? Sue says, yeah. Tents, right? That's what people call camping. So I hear. How about the wilderness where Jesus was? Would you want to go camping there? No. She changes her mind. Why would you not want to go camping in the wilderness where Jesus was? Is there a lot of food to eat? He was pretty hungry, wasn't he? There wasn't much to eat, not much to drink. Snakes! Bugs! Creepy crawlies! What kind of temperatures do you have in the wilderness? Hot? Really hot during the day, really cold at night? Yeah? Not very pleasant. No. In fact, I don't know that you would choose to go there at all. But I would like to argue that although the wilderness might not be a great place to be in terms of feeling nice, it's a natural place to be. And that each of us has been in the wilderness. And that it might not be entirely bad for us to go through wilderness experiences. So today Jesus is in the wilderness. And how long is he there? 40 days. Why is that significant? Very good. Say that again, Sue. That's how long Lent is, right? That's the season that we're just starting. The season before Holy Week and Easter, Lent, right? The season of preparation, of reflection, 40 days. 40, it comes up a couple times in the Bible. Where else does 40 come up? Do you remember? 40 years? What? Moses? Who else? The Israelites, right? In the wilderness. Notice that. They're in the wilderness too. A little longer. Noah and the ark, that's right. And that's what? What's the 40? The rain, yes. 40 days and 40 nights of rain, right? So 40 is this significant number. And the wilderness is a significant place. And I think sometimes we misunderstand this episode in the wilderness, this confrontation between Jesus and the devil, right? We think that the devil is trying to thwart Jesus, keep him from his ministry, from his calling, while he's here on earth. But in fact, the devil is not an enemy opposing God. The devil in Scripture is an agent of God. And his job is to test people, to see that they're ready. And Jesus is about to go on a very challenging journey. His ministry is not going to be easy. And so he needs to be tested to see if he's ready for this journey. And so that's why he gets these 3 different tests that we hear about. Who knows, maybe there were more, but we only get to hear about those 3. And I would argue that we too experience these times of testing. Think of when you're a new parent, or you're just married, or maybe you started a new job, or you're going into a new grade at school, or off to college. Those are kind of wilderness experiences, aren't they? When you're just starting out, and everything is new, making some mistakes probably, and it's a little uncomfortable and stressful, right? Would you choose to do those things, to undergo those tests, those stressful times? Probably not. Probably not. You could avoid it, you probably would. Sleepless nights, arguments, not knowing what you're doing, feeling overwhelmed. Is it all come from earlier? Right? You would probably want to avoid that if you could. And these things happen to us also in unexpected times, when there's a sudden illness, somebody that we love, or ourselves, or somebody passes away that we care for, or we lose our job. Those are testing wilderness experiences as well. And even though we might not enjoy those experiences, they form us in a way, don't they? Into who we are. They give us wisdom. In the moment, it's not very pleasant. lessons that we learn prove to be valuable. Well, we aren't just tested as individuals. Organizations get tested too. Specifically the church, right? In what ways is the church being tested in today's world? What are some tests the church is undergoing?
Low attendance.
Low attendance. Yes, there we go. Come on, where's the mantra? What else? Not enough money. What else? What's another test the church is undergoing in today's world? No kids, no children. People are busy, right? What's another test?
Fitting in with the community.
Fitting in with the community. Very well said, Mike. Yeah. We just kind of feel like we're apart, alienated. You might go and knock on somebody's door and say, do you know about St. John's? And they go, what's St. John's? That's not very heartening, right? What other tests? Any other tests that come to mind? These are all good ones. Maintenance! So the church with the how old building? How old is this building? At least what, 70 years old? Yeah, it's old. It's an old building. Has maintenance issues. All these tests, right? In our council retreat, not this weekend, but last weekend, we talked specifically about St. John's and these 3 tests that we heard in our gospel reading and how they apply here. So we talked about the first test where Satan offers Jesus these stones, it says, turn them into bread, right? We called this the test of easy dough or easy money. And we think about, as a congregation with some financial challenges, we kind of dream of having this huge sum of money fall into our laps, right? Oh, what we would do if we won the lottery. We had all this money. And then we thought a little bit further about how maybe that might not be the best thing for us. And we realized that sometimes when you have all of this money, you become kind of short-sighted and selfish. And you lose track of what your true mission is, which is to reach out, right? And to go out into the community. And that when we do go out into the community and we reach out and we serve, that provides more healthy satisfaction than in fact having money does. And then we talked about the second test. The second test is where Satan shows Jesus all the kingdoms of the world. And he says, I'll give you authority over all of this if you just worship me. And this we call the test of easy glory. We thought about as a smaller congregation how we often look at bigger congregations. And we kind of lust after the fact that they have all of these members and this huge youth program, tons of young families, this trendy, fancy worship, and we want that, right? We want that. And we thought, how might it not be great for us to desire that? We thought, well, it kind of makes us blind to what's right in front of us, what's already in our laps, what we already have. All the wonderful, faithful people who are right here. And we neglect those people, those resources, that we could grow and have potential, deepen their faith, and that ultimately, deepening the faith of those people who are already here would probably equip us better for God's work than having tons of members and lots of fancy programs. And then the third test, right? The third test is where Satan says, throw yourself off of the temple, and surely God will lift you up. And Satan gets kind of clever here, right? He uses that whole quoting scripture trick and throws it back at Jesus. And he actually quotes the psalm that we heard today. God will lift you up. He'll bear you up on the angel's wings. It's in scripture. Go ahead, Jesus. We call this test the test of easy answers. We thought of it as a congregation with challenges for easy answers for complicated problems. Problems that have developed over years, decades even. And we want a quick fix. Just do this, and everything will be better. And we thought about how this isn't really healthy for us either, because it leads to burnout. We're constantly putting Band-Aids on things and looking for all the negativity so that we can fix it. Right? And that actually, it inhibits our ability to dream, to think beyond. And that when we do that, we might actually see where God is already at work. And we can join in where there's positive energy. And that this will propel us in a way that Band-Aids simply won't. That we can capitalize on this positive energy and be energized by it, rather than endlessly rolling that rock back up the hill. Right? Being in the wilderness is tough. It's challenging. It's not comfortable. Stressful. So how do we make it through? How do we keep focused, right? Well, you were asked to bring an item with you today. Something that was precious, that's connected to St. John's. And I told you in the beginning, if you don't have something, don't bring it. I want you to think of something that you might have brought with you. And if you're new to St. John's, think of something from your own faith life. Some kind of memento that's really dear to you. I would have brought it except I couldn't find it. Mine would have been, if I could have found it, which I think somebody brought one. Let's see, where is it? I have one of these. Do you see it? So thank you whoever brought this. Thanks, Lynn. Got me covered.
Oh.
What is that? What's this got to do with, you think? Baptism, yeah. Yeah, it's a little medallion. And I think there's a place for you to like have something engraved on the back. Although I don't think anything's engraved on the back of mine. Which is okay. But it's a medallion that sometimes a church gives to a family when they have a child baptized. And it's got the little shell there, right? And 3 little droplets. Which, maybe that's about the Trinity. Certainly it's a reference to the water, to God at work. I would have brought this because it reminds me that I'm a beloved child of God, and that my baptism makes me a part of something bigger. A family, a community, a movement. And that with those people, we can accomplish much more than I can on my own. That's what I would have brought. So, if you have something here, I'm going to ask you to come and get it. And if you have something with you, you can bring it out. If you don't have something with you, we have a question. Yes?
No, I have something with me.
You have something. I see. Well,
And
hold
so
on
does
to
she.
it. Hold on to it. So everybody who has something, raise your hand if you have something. A couple people do. So, and some of, is this all yours, Lynn? No. Okay, I was going to say.
Okay.
So if you could find somebody who has something, so keep your hand raised if you have something. Loud and proud here. And find somebody who has something. Either your groups of 1 or 2 or, well, groups of 1. Groups of 2 or 3. Come on. It means you're going to have to stand up. You're going to have to stand up and find somebody. Keep your hands up really high. Really high so people need to find you. Rachel's somebody. Rachel's looking for somebody right there.
We're your partners.
Oh, okay.
Rachel, you find somebody who put it on your hand. There you go.
Okay, cool.
This is all my fault. So when you're in a group with somebody who has something, get together,
Oh, I made that.
share what you have, and why you brought it.
So I'm gonna leave this for but she's gonna take it from me. That was it was Alex Fry, Sarah Fry, Steph Damian, Ann Palmer, and Ryan, Ann went, and Ryan Wooley. Ann and I were sleeping on the floor. It was so noisy. People were snoring. I took my pillow and my sleeping bag and I went to the closet out in the hallway. So I was like, yeah, I gotta get
This is my dad's mom's.
Wow. You know, we drove, oh my gosh, so many hours in Zona with tumbleweeds. And then we finally got there, and all these weird looking dogs it's a disease called mange. Oh yeah, these mangy dogs come around the van. And I'm like, nobody's getting kids had to pee. I'm like, no, you're not getting out of this van. Until we found somebody that let us in the building. Yeah, last minute, she wanted to go. She goes, I really want to do that. I said, oh God, please come with me. And class. Oh, wow. Back in the day. Class. I have one in that reading room that I yeah, that's the Catholic Church on the reservation, and a lot of the Indians hate white. One of our parents, because of what he said, like his word.
All right. So, I bet you shared some stories. A few stories? Yeah? These things that we brought, right? They're precious to us. So I see some people have photos. Other people had, what was it that you had? You had something big.
This one, certificate of confirmation from the class of 1916.
1960.
My dad's mom's.
Wow. So your great grandmother.
My grandmother.
Your grandma, your children's great grandma. Your
And
grandma.
his sister's baptism. She passed away as an infant.
Wow. So baptism and a confirmation certificate from, when's this come from?
1924, 1916.
From the very
class
beginning of the 20th century.
And then 1924.
And why did you bring these?
See, we're in my dad's stuff, and he didn't even know he had them anymore. And yet, they're awesome. They're really cool. They're memories. The church has been around this long, and it keeps going.
Yes. So this is the foundation. This is the foundation. It's been around a long time, even longer than this, in fact. What else? What else did folks bring? What did you bring?
I brought the scripture on the chart that we use up on the,
Oh, yes.
because we do this at our house as well. It just kind of connects church to home, or God to home. It's not just coming here once a week. It's
So Steve has the blessing for your doorway. So we do this at the beginning of the year. We bless the doorways here, and then we give folks little kits to do it at home. Or we did at one point. I don't think I gave anything to anybody. I just gave the sheets. You had to have your own chalk. Bring your own chalk. But it's a blessing that you put over the door, and then it stays there the whole year. And it's and it ties what we do here at church to our home life. Because faith isn't just about Sunday, right? It's all week. It's a great thing to bring. What else did anybody else want to share? This looks like from earlier, girls.
What was that?
Why'd you bring this, Sue?
Because they're very good friends of mine. And I always call them my adopted church.
Adopted church granddaughters. Church is about relationships, right? Yeah, about the love that we have for one another. These connections that we make. Absolutely. So tell us about this. What is it?
This is my Aunt Sue's house. We always have a family reunion at her house, and it has a picture of Dave and the rest of our family in it.
So Dave is your uncle, right?
Yes, that passed away. That meant a lot to me.
And he passed away recently.
Yes.
Yeah. So church is about communion of saints, right? Those folks who have passed on, but who are still part of our story, right? Anybody else want to share one more thing? Barb, what have you got? She just shows it to me. Look at that young Barb, that young Betty.
That's our twin boys who were baptized here.
Oh my goodness, look at that. Don't you love her hair? I love it, Barb. I love it.
Right? 3-month-old twins.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Look at Barb, isn't she styling? I know she can take it. No, right. Yeah, right. So why'd you bring this?
Well, I think Denny actually picked it out. But then, as I looked at it, and I was talking with Bob and Becky, who were here to do, she's here to do Zentangle stuff
Oh,
now.
lovely.
And it's continuity. Denny's grandmother. So I think this was, they were the 4th generation with them. Our boys, I think. So, and to me, I think that means a lot because I moved around all my life and I didn't have this. I didn't have a community and a church and everything that I was really a part of, and that was something that was kind of ingrained in the community. And so it's something that is special to me because I didn't have that at all growing up. And
So the gift of community.
yeah,
Absolutely. That sounds like a legacy, too.
yeah, really.
Absolutely. All of these things. Why did I ask you to bring these in, right? Because we're talking about the next step, and most of the stuff is all of it from the past, right? Here's the thing. When you go into the future and you take the next step, you don't leave all of this stuff behind. You want to take the best, which is what we brought, right? We brought the best. These wonderful memories, these treasured pieces of our past, we want to take that with us. The best of who we are. And that's what gets us through the wilderness. These stories, these memories, these relationships, the love, right? The community. That's what gets us through the wilderness. And that's what proves to be our foundation as we go forward. That's why I asked you to bring these things, because this is what I want you to have in mind. This is who we want to be. A community in relationship, reaching out, sharing God's love, baptizing new members of the faith, bringing in new people to hear God's story of love. So let's take the best with us, shall we? As we go forward. Don't forget these stories that you heard, these items that you brought. As we take this journey, they'll be with us along the way. Amen.